everyone, and welcome back to Breaking the Silence HD Unfiltered. We're your hosts, Amanda
and Ellen. So this is a podcast surrounding Huntington's disease and honest conversations, breaking the stigma, and stuff like that. So we're here to talk about personal experiences and research updates and many other things within the Huntington's community.
So, last week we talked about grieving the person that's still here. So, we talked about grieving our mom as Huntington's progressed and some of the things that we lose of that person along the way. So, we hope you had a chance to check out that video. Yeah. So, what are we doing this week?
Yeah, this week we're talking about our 50-50 chance, what that looks like. So finding out our mom had Huntington's disease, finding out that we had a 50% chance of inheriting it, and just our experience with that.
So, we're going to start by talking about the day that our mom sat us down and kind of told us what was happening. So at that point, it was just our mom as a single mom. So
I don't remember this, but I was also really young, and I may have been there, I might not have been there, but I don't remember.
So she had some family members come over and sit us down, and that's when they told all of us kids that our mom had Huntington's disease. They didn't really tell us much about what Huntington's disease was, but they did say that when we turned 18, we could be tested to find out if we had it. And that's kind of where we left it. They asked us if we had any questions. I don't recall any of us asking any questions. So I would have been like 13 or 14. So that means Ellen would have been like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So she would have been fairly young at that point. So after that, we kind of like put this 50-50 chance in HD on a back burner and kind of just watched as our mom continued to get more and more sick from Huntington's disease. Got any questions, Ellen?
You have to edit that out. So at what age did you start to think heavily about whether you wanted to test or not test?
Well, I want to say like 16-ish is when I first started really looking into more about what HD was. Because that's kind of when we were allowed the internet and so our good old friend Google, I took to Google and did a lot of research to see kind of what it was and that kind of thing. How about you, Ellen?
So for me, it was on the back burner for quite a while, mostly because I was young and I didn't understand the gravity of it. But for me, I started to think more about my 50-50 chance when I was 16. And at that time, Amanda was going through her testing. So I think that really brought it to light for me about this is something that's really going on in my world.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, Ellen, what
Mm-hmm.
made you come to the decision of not testing right now?
So here is a fun fact. I had actually started the testing process when I turned 18, and then I put it on the back burner. So I gathered all of my medical documents, and I was very adamant that I wanted to be tested. But I don't want to be tested right now because now I have children that I didn't have when I was 18, living in that little world. So now it's more than just me. And some people might think the other way, that now you have kids, you want to get tested. But for me, that's not at the top of my list right now. I think that would just add more weight. Yeah, I'm okay with not knowing for the time being. In the future, I definitely see going through the process in my cards, but right now I'm okay with not knowing.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, Amanda,
Yeah.
what led you to test?
Huh. Well, when, oh, how old was I? I gotta subtract and do math here. 2018. So I would have been like 24. So I went through the testing process when I was 24. But what made me get tested was like I just had a lot of anxiety around like what my result was going to be, and like it was kind of something that I was just thinking about like every single day, like what if I have HD, or I should just get tested so like I know, because I'm already spending so much time worrying. Like I guess my one friend really pushed me because she's like, well, right now HD is already winning because you're giving it so much of your time. So you might as well just find out, and then like we go from there, right? And like that kind of made sense to me because like I did spend a lot of time worrying and stuff. So yeah, I just ultimately decided that it was in my best interest for the sake of like my mental health to go through the testing process.
So, can I ask you another question?
I guess.
So, now I'm just curious about your mental health now that you know, because once you know, you know.
So like I guess like I went into the testing process believing I was not going to have Huntington's disease. Like I was just in denial. Like it's not going to happen to me. So I'm just going to get my result and I'm going to know that I don't have HD, and maybe that will be a load lifted off my shoulders. So I went in very ignorant. So when I was told that I had HD, I was very devastated. Um, and it took a long time for me to get to a healthy place mentally. Because for like months after I found out, I struggled with my anxiety and stuff. So, but like I saw a psychiatrist and stuff and got the right meds, and now, like, since then, it's been kind of under control. So, like, it did take a little while for it to mellow out, I guess, after finding out that I had HD. But yeah, I'm gonna get more in depth about that stuff in another
Hmm.
episode where I'll share my whole testing process. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, Ellen, is there any
Hmm.
advice that you would give to someone young or older, any age, that is thinking about testing and trying to decide to test or not to test?
My only advice really is that you need to remember that this is your result. This is your decision. I think a lot of times people around us love to give their opinions, which is great, but you'll hear, well, if it was me, I would want to know. Or if it was me, I wouldn't want to know. And as much as, we appreciate that insight, it's your choice. It is not anybody around you.
Mm-hmm.
You test for you and only you. And if somebody is pushing you, that's not a good person to have in your life. So,
Yeah, like for me, like back to people pushing you, like my friend did say, I think you should get tested because like you're already spending so much time, but she wasn't like, you need to.
yeah.
Like it's ultimately up to you. So I think my advice is just like don't be in a hurry. Take as much time as you want. Like you don't have to decide tomorrow. You have all kinds of time to figure out if it's really what you want or you don't want.
Yes. As much time as I spend thinking about the what ifs, once you know, and you can't go back to the not knowing and it just being a possibility. Like,
Mhm.
so it's a huge difference, I find. I think. I guess I haven't been in that situation,
And a
but
question that I get asked a lot is, do you regret finding
mm,
out? Lots of people ask me that, and like, no, I don't regret it because now I live my life in a way that I didn't live my life before, and I live in the moment, and I don't take the good days for granted. So I just, yeah.
well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What advice would you give to somebody who has just tested positive? Or, yeah, I
Ooh,
guess that's what you
ha.
mentioned.
Ellen threw me a curveball.
I know this wasn't on our list today.
Just to know, like, you're not alone, I guess, because, like, there's so many other people out there that have also tested positive. So if you're watching this video and you have recently tested positive, or you're in the testing process, and you can always reach out to us, or and I can get you in contact with other people that I know that have went through the testing process or that have also tested positive, because there's a lot of people out there that have tested positive that are willing to share their journey with you and just be a support to you, but also just to, like I said before, like, build your support system. It's important to have a good support system.
Hmm.
Anything else you'd like to add, Ellen?
I think no matter where you're at in your journey, you should definitely, if you're comfortable, reach out to the Huntington Society of Canada or America, wherever you are in the world, and maybe attend some of their events
Mm-hmm.
or see who you can get in contact with if you're comfortable with it. It definitely
Yes,
can help.
because like there are a lot of sessions and stuff that happen at conference
Mm,
and at our young people affected by Huntington's disease days, that focus on to test or not to test. They focus on like survivor's guilt for
yes.
those that have tested or negative and other things like that. But there's so many different topics that they cover: anxiety, depression,
Mm-hmm.
anything that you're going through. I guarantee there's a topic
Mm-hmm.
about it at conference or at the convention in the States. We live in Canada, so it's our convention that happens every 2 years. But in the States, their convention happens every year.
Mm,
So don't be afraid to, yeah, get in contact with people. And there's also grants out there for you to attend some of these things, especially if you're a young person. There
yes.
is funding out there to get you to these events. And if you need help at all trying to figure out any of this or navigate, let us know. We will definitely help you. There
Yes.
is a conference happening this year in
It's up.
somewhere near Toronto,
Yes.
Mississauga, Hamilton, something like that. Um,
Mississauga this year.
um, yeah, it's happening over Halloween into
Yes.
the early November. So, yeah, it's something to consider for sure. And there's one full day that is just for young people under the age of 35 to gather together and just connect. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, next week, we are going to be talking more about some of our mom struggles that came along before we ultimately decided that it was time to put our mom into a nursing home. So there was a lot of reasons why we decided to do that, especially along the lines of kind of like the safety feature for like of our mom, not having somebody there full time. But we'll also talk about the struggles that come with deciding to put mom into a nursing home, and also talking about selling our childhood home.
Yeah. So we hope you had a chance to watch last week's episode. We just want to remind you again that we're here for you. We did a lot of talking about resources this episode, but again, if we can't help you, we can get you in contact with somebody who can. And we just really appreciate all the support that we have gotten. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely appreciate it. Well, that's it for this week. Bye.
Bye.